Good morning, fellow app makers. It's Behzad here from Hey World Coder. Welcome back to another video of how to implementing Google Maps to our Android project. Today, we are going to work on some new lessons of what is constructor and how we have to take advantage of constructor in our project. So I've set up our objective for this lesson. We are going through what is a constructor definition, how to create a constructor, and how to implement constructor in our project. So basically we need to store each user's information on our database without overriding them. What does that mean? That means if you have a user with two users with the same name, and if you're going to store them on database, you may have overriding them, and that is the last thing you are wishing to happen to your application. For our project, the information we need to handle is the user's full name and user's email. So then we need to initialize our attributes or variables to the constructor parameters which we are going to create today. Then we have to set our database's reference which we set up yesterday to our constructor. And the last thing is we need to handle the user information and store them on database. Go back to your project. Before we going ahead, I do apologize for making a mistake yesterday. Yesterday in our execute reg button, I said if the user validate user input returns true, then we need to send user database, which that is wrong. It's not completely wrong, but I tell you what to do. Here we need to create an account and then send user to database. What does that mean? Let me write it down and then I will explain it to you. Just write down a string account email equals to view our register bending. We need to get our user email. It gives us text. We need to convert it to a string and then we have to trim it. We do same for our password. We use these two variables specifically for our user to let them create an account with. Just write down here, we need our Firebase auth, and we need to use our variables we created in here and we initialize it inside our onCreate. We need to use it to let the user to create an account. Dot create a user with email and password. Then we need to give two parameters to it. As you need, we need our email and password for here. So we use our account email and account password. We need to add uncomplete listener to it. Write down new uncomplete listener. And we're creating a task because we have to get a result of this. Either it is true or it is false. We need one if else condition to check something else. Write down task is successful. Then we need to send user to database. Firebase auth.sign out. Finish it and start another activity. New intent register page dot class comma login page. Sorry, this should be this, not. And else we'll create a toast message unable to register. What have I done? Here we handle this task. We are going to create an account using the account email and account password. That is a task to doing it. So if that task is successful, that means this Firebase was able to create an account with this email and password. That means our task is going to be successful. Once it's successful, then we need to create a user's account, send user database, send the user data to database and store them and let the user to be created. Then we need to disinitialize that being created. We need to sign out from it. We destroy those two activities and then we are going to send the user from register page to login page to let them to log in one more time. Once they log in, then they can go to your map page. And if this task is not successful, we just simply write it down unable to register. You can here specifically explain to user what to do. But for now, we are just going to handle this one line of code. So that is ready for our execute reg button. Now we are going to create a constructor. Go to your project, inside your app, your Java, your topmost folder, click right, have a new Java class. We need a class for here, and write it down constructor. Make sure you're using capital letter for the start of the class. Then click OK. Here we have created a class as our constructor. Inside our class here, just write down public string full name, public string email. We set up two attributes inside our class, and we are going to give them some values. How we are going to do it? Turn off your numlock on your keypad. Just hold on Alt 0. You have a similar window here. Just click on constructor, select none. We need one initialized without any parameters. Do it one more time, constructor, and select these two information. Click OK. Go to your register page here. Let me minimize here. So here I haven't explained what does that mean. So we need to create an object from our constructor class. Just write down constructor, give a name to it, equals to new constructor, and close it down. So we create then an object here for this whole class. We have two variables inside our field area, and inside our object in our register page, we need to give some parameters to our object we created here to set up to our full name and email. So that is the information we actually need to store on our database. We are using our variables we created here, full name and email, comma, email, and we need to set our database reference to it. Use a set value, and we use our constructor, semicolon. What happened here? We created a constructor class. We gave it two variables to it inside the field area. The constructor class, it has the same name of any class you are going to make, and for every parameters we are going to have, it will set up some defaulted values. For instance, if you do not put anything here inside these parameters, whatever is going to be here, it return as a default. For instance, default return for a string is null, for boolean is false, for int is, I guess, is 0 if I'm not wrong. But here we initialize it, and we are telling the constructor, whenever you getting an instance from this full name, whatever we put as a parameter, store it as our full name. Whatever we put for our email, store it as our email. And how is that we are going to take advantage to it is, whenever we are creating any account with a user and user details, we specifically get those full name and their email and store them specifically based on here, on this our defaulted variables we created inside our constructor class. Do not worry if you do not get it for now. Once we run our app, everything's work fine. Here in our get reference, we need to add a child to it. So why do we need to child? Because we have to specifically get every user unique ID, and then we set up the email and password. Just write down Firebase auth with a small f dot get current user dot get UID. And let's run our application. But before running our application, we are going to see our Firebase, how it looks like, and what will happen to it once we run our app. Go to your Firebase, firebase.com, click on get started. We are going to our application that we have created. So I already have one. Go to your database section. This is what you see here once you're running our app. Just go to your database. We do not have any information here yet. Go back to your application, and we are going to run our app to see what will happen. Just run your app for 4 seconds. It's going to run. Then we are logged into our login page. Here we don't have any account. We click here to create an account. Then let's see what will happen. If you click on register, so fields cannot be empty. So we're putting our full name. Here, and we click on register. And we are going back to our login page. Let's go back to your Firebase to see what happened. As you see here, the user being created, the user details being created. We got a unique ID for it. And this is our email, and this is our full name. Go back to your authentication. Here is a unique ID for it. And we're checking our unique ID is the same as database. Here we go. And this is our root. I'll show you how we created this folder and this subfolder to it. Go back to your application. Here we set our user detail, and unique ID. User detail, our unique ID, and we got 2 parameters for our constructor as email and full name and password. Email and full name, sorry. This is how we are going to handle user information and store them on database. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. We are going to have a daily uploads of videos, and we are going to learn together how to create apps, Android apps using Android Studio. Thanks for your time and watching, and I will see you all in the next video.